So, as I record this, it's been just over 24 hours since the draw for the World Cup was made, and yep, I've simulated it in Football Manager already. And it's certainly thrown up some interesting results. So join me for a look at this tournament and a few of the shocks along the way. So here we are inside the game on the World Cup screen, and as you can see here, the groups are listed on this left-hand side, and they are the real groups, the groups that were literally just drawn. So we've got Qatar in Group A, England in Group B along with Iran, USA. Now, of course, you'll see Wales there. We don't know that it's going to be Wales. There's still that European playoff to complete. What I've done here is I've just randomly picked Wales. I did a random name selector and Wales came out ahead of Scotland and Ukraine. I did the same for the other groups where playoff teams are going to be entered, so that's why we've got Peru in Group D and not Australia or UAE, and New Zealand over Costa Rica in Group B. It's just random. So you see all 8 groups are here. I've spent most of this past day creating this in the editor. So we've now skipped ahead to December 2022 and the group stages have been completed. And here we see Group A. FM22 predicts Netherlands to top the group, Senegal in second. This is pretty much, how you might expect this group to work out based on the reputation of each team. Qatar not having a great home World Cup, scoring a goal in the first game, but ultimately losing every single match. Some heavy defeats there as well. 5-0 to Holland, 4-0 to Ecuador. Group B, England flying to the top there. 3 wins out of 3. 13 goals scored. We've got 5-0 over Wales. Foden, Grealish, Kane and Abraham with the goals. Got 3-0 over the USA. Rice, Carter Vickers with an own goal and Foden with a stoppage time goal. And then 5-1 over Iran as well. Foden, Kane, Grealish and Abraham again with the goals. And we see there on that last match day, USA getting a win over Wales, which got them second in the group. So on to Group C, Argentina win, as you would expect, the defending Copa America champions. And I thought when I saw this group, it's going to come down to Mexico and Poland for second. And we see here it was pretty tight, both teams finishing on 4 points. Mexico getting the advantage with the superior goal difference, that 5-0 win over Saudi Arabia in the first game. No doubt helping. Group D gives us the first small surprise of the tournament as Denmark topped the group ahead of France, actually beating France in their game. 2-1 we see there was the scoreline for that. Tunisia and Peru both couldn't get a win, so Denmark through in first, France in second. No surprises in Group E, the 2 big European teams, Spain and Germany, going through. Oh, Canada. Now this has to rank as a major surprise. They've topped the group ahead of 2 of the semi-finalists from the previous World Cup. And the key result for Canada came right there in that first game, a stoppage time goal from Ugbo helping them to beat Morocco. They then held out for draws, impressive draws against Belgium and Croatia. Jonathan David, the hero, with 3 goals across those 2 games. Belgium, on the final match day, slipped up. They lost 2-1 to Morocco, and that's what enabled Canada to top this group. And a very closely fought battle for those 2 qualification spots in Group G. Serbia perhaps pulling off a bit of a surprise again by topping it ahead of Brazil. But look how the group played out. Serbia, Brazil and Switzerland all on 5 points, and Switzerland cruelly eliminated on goal difference. And Group H, another one that hasn't offered up much of a surprise. Portugal topping the group. Uruguay going through in second, so kind of following the seeding. South Korea and Ghana both with a solitary point. We see Cristiano Ronaldo's there getting the winner against Uruguay, getting 2 against South Korea and 2 against Ghana, so finishing the group stage with 5 goals already to his name. So with the Netherlands topping Group A, they played USA, runners-up in Group B, in the second round, getting a 2-1 win. Look at this in our second match. Of course, France slipping up slightly, finishing second in their group behind Denmark, setting up a second-round clash with Argentina. It went to extra time. It took 2 late goals from Argentina to force extra time. Then they had a man sent off, and Sissoko getting the winner. Then we got to Denmark, Mexico. That went 1-1. Mexico going through on penalties despite having a man sent off. England eking out a tight win over Senegal thanks to Jordan Henderson. Now another massive tie coming up due to one of the big boys slipping up. Belgium, having finished second, had to play Spain, but they won the match. They beat Spain 3-2. Serbia and Uruguay went to 3-3. Look at that, a Tadic penalty 2 minutes from the end of extra time, forcing that penalty shootout, but Luis Suarez's boys prevailing. Canada, despite their great group stage performance, they couldn't go any further than the second round as they lost out to Germany. Again, a late goal going in there to seal victory there, and yet again, it was one of the big teams slipping up and finishing second in the group stage that set up a massive encounter, and it was another late goal that decided this one. Neymar scoring 5 minutes from time as Portugal crashed out. It's quarter-final time then, and we get the sense that France are hitting their stride here, picking up a big 3-0 win over the Netherlands. Belgium getting through with a 2-0 win over Uruguay. Once again in this tournament, we see late goals winning matches, scoring on 88 and 90 plus 5 to get the 2-0 win. England also advancing to the semi-finals with a 2-0 win. Saka and Kane with the goals over Mexico, whose late goal was nothing more than a consolation, and then a classic World Cup tie. Germany-Brazil, it went 1-1, Brazil going through on penalties. And we've already said this has been a tournament of late goals, and look at that. Belgium scoring in stoppage time, in extra time, to make it to the World Cup final. So who joins Belgium in the final? Brazil or England? Oh, there'll be flying pints everywhere if this happens in real life. It's England who make it to the World Cup final, and bucking the trend of late goals here. Sterling scoring early on, and that being enough to set up the final with Belgium. Before that, there was the third place match, of course, and again, it's the late goals coming in. Firmino putting Brazil 2-1 up. Hernandez getting one back for France in stoppage time, but Brazil finishing third. So the third place match from last time becomes the final this time, and we see here it was won by Phil Foden in the 70th minute. Beautiful through ball from Sterling. Great finish. And that's it. England are world champions. And there's a full overview of the knockout rounds for you if you want to take a look at some of the results again. So if that can happen for real come December, I'm going to be a very happy Football Manager player. I'm going to be doing some more content with this file over next few weeks. We'll do some playthroughs, we'll do some simulations and experiments with it. Now there are still a few tweaks that I'm going to be making to this file, but if you would like to get access to it now, to have a playthrough of the World Cup yourself, well, there are 3 ways you can do that. First of all, I'm making it available to any YouTube channel members. You can find the join button down at the bottom, or you can head over to Patreon and become one of my supporters there, or subscribe to my channel on Twitch. Whichever way you do it, I will get in touch to send you a copy of the file. So don't forget to subscribe for more World Cup and international management content coming up. I'm Dodgy Gamer, and I'll see you soon.